This is a Dancing Stickman production. Content warning. This series contains potentially upsetting themes, including mind control, harm to children and animals, and death. Ofelia, you are up for your watch as dawn crests towards Clawtip and where Uneza lives at the end of the peninsula. And as the forest starts to just barely lighten up, since it's very dense here, the rest of you all start to come awake at the same time. And you start your day with a little bit of breakfast, but I think that Igern is starting to feel the same kind of sense of urgency as the rest of you, and you set about to walking this 20 miles in the forest. I would love a survival check from everybody with disadvantage from Ofelia and Emmett.
Survival, disadvantage?
No, I'm sorry, nature.
Nature? Okay.
Porque us?
Not because you're not in tune with nature, but because you haven't spent a ton of time trekking through deep wood forests.
Yeah, with disadvantage still?
Yes, you city girls need to give me some disadvantage.
But considering that I have the Coven of Greed and nature loves me, is there any way I can just roll straight?
You can roll flat. Yeah, you can roll flat.
I should do a nature check or a survival check?
Either.
Dang. The story said no and gave me a nat 1.
I also got a nat 1.
Wow.
Womp womp.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Your girl is at a 27, okay?
At a 27, Naya is leading the way.
As she should.
So, all right. Igern didn't do great either, but she did not get nat ones. So
This is why we needed to rest.
So what I will say is that Igern and Emmett and Ofelia, you're just not used to having to look to see where tree roots are before you take a step, you know? You're not used to the way that things can be underneath the deadfall of leaves and that you can trip over them if you're not being careful.
After I communed with the trees, I think there's just this awareness of all of the life that's here. But I think at some points there's tree roots reaching out for me, and there's blades of grass that somehow stick to me, and I'm just like, I don't know what's happening.
That's brilliant.
I like that. So your own senses are telling you how vibrant and intense the life is here. And in a sense, it does remind you of your garden at home, but that was curated and manicured, and this is wild. And so the way that you recognized plants almost having reached out to you at home, where you could almost instinctively know what their medicinal properties were, what you're actually feeling here is more of the same kind of call, but it's this wild plant life that grasps for you in a way that's not, domesticated by people. And I think you're a little overwhelmed. So Igern didn't get a nat 1, but she is, I think, quite sad right now. And I think that's the emotional space that she is in is distracting her as she walks. And how about you, Emmett? What's going on in your...
I was just gonna say that Naya is pushes a branch back and it smacks me in the face.
Got it. Got it. Emmett and Ofelia and Igern all take a point of exhaustion. So you have disadvantage on ability checks, but it's just 1 point. It's fine.
Where is that?
20 miles is a long way to walk. 10 miles takes about, it takes me 5 hours, and that's me moving fast. So we'll say 6.
Dang.
So 20 miles is a lot of ground to cover, especially through untraversed, no trail. You're just walking through the wild, and it's going to take you a little bit longer.
Naya right now, is feeling inspired.
Thriving.
Right?
Fucking thriving.
Just oh man. If she was a ranger, this is her favorite terrain. Just living her life.
Meanwhile, Ophelia's going through an A24 movie right now.
The forest that makes you old.
So you travel through the morning, you take a quick break for lunch too. You just stop, drink some water, eat a little food. But you all are starting to, after having learned that Uneza is trapped potentially, and that there is somebody after her, you eat pretty distractedly and you decide to get up, pick up the pace, keep moving. As you head into the early afternoon, the trees are actually starting to thin out a bit, and the sound of the ocean is getting louder. So you know that the point of this peninsula is starting to narrow down, because near Clawtip, there wasn't nearly as much tree cover as there is in this deep forest. It thinned out. The trees themselves changed into more coastal type trees. and you're starting to see more of them, and you're starting to be able to see a little bit of a further distance. Now, as you are moving and the sun has come out and it's starting to heat everything up, you crest over a rise in the land, and as you come to the top, who's in the lead? I have to imagine that Naya is in the lead.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Naya is probably 1 mile in front of everyone.
Yeah, you got us 27 on that survival check. Can you do me a favor and give me perception with advantage, please?
Absolutely. Naya, don't mess this up. 19.
Lovely. You're far enough ahead of everybody that when you stop, because you do when you see this, they all know to slow as they come up behind you. But what you see as you're looking down is an opening. It's a clearing in the trees. And the path that you're kind of following, which it's like a deer trail that you've just sort of been leading the way on. You've been trying to make it easier on everybody else. This deer trail leads down into the bowl of this clearing. And on one side of the clearing is a herd of elk. And on the other side of the path is one little baby elk. As you see it and you stop there, you have to consider, like, you know this, Naya, elk are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
They bite, they kick. Male elk have those antlers that they sharpen to points against trees. And it is the time of year, it's rutting season. So that is when the male elk fight each other. What you see is one little baby out on its own, hanging out from the herd, and the rest of this large herd on the other side of it. So you stop there when you see that, and the rest come up behind you and join you there. And that's when the elk herd notices you.
Interesting. Naya seeing this and not wanting to cause any harm to these elk, they are not our concern or our problem. I think she wants to cast, was it animal friendship?
Oh, okay.
To convince, well, it's only a beast, but like, what is the most alpha looking elk there?
Do you want the most alpha looking elk, or do you want the one that would be most effective for you to cast a spell on?
Yeah, that's true.
Because alpha, ew.
Still a man. Still a man.
Still's got
Oh my
hormones. Like, geez. Can you give me a nature check?
Absolutely.
Nature or survival?
I'll do survival because it's my wisdom. It on 11.
You don't know. You're
Okay.
not sure.
I'm going to try and cast it on the baby.
On the baby. Okay.
Is this the first time Ofelia seeing an elk?
Is it? Certainly a wild elk for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely Emmett's first time seeing an elk.
Yeah. You're casting animal friendship on the baby. What is it like when Naya casts this spell on this animal? It's just grazing, and you're about, I would say you're probably like 35 feet away from it.
And would we be able to kind of like walk around this group?
Imagine that this clearing is a circle, and you would have traveled straight through, but doing so would put the baby elk on one side and the herd on the other. There's not space to walk around the herd. There is space to walk around the baby, but you would be coming quite close to it.
Oh, this is a funny one. So Naya is going to hold everyone back because if anything pops off, she doesn't want the rest of the group to be harmed by this. So she'll turn to Ofelia and Emmett and Iger and just say, just stay right here. I'm going to see if we can get a little path going. But if anything happens, just go around it.
Just be safe, Naya.
We'll see how this goes.
If you die, I'll kill you.
Naya turns to Emmett, immediately salutes. Yes, ma'am.
I do it back.
So Naya starts to slowly walk on the other side of the baby elk, on the outside of it.
On the outside of it, so that you're as far away from the herd as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to kind of show that she is not a threat or a concern.
There is one female elk in the herd that sees you coming near the baby. Her head pops up and she's staring straight at you while you do this.
I'm going to not look directly in her eye. I'm also not even going to look at the baby to just kind of continue to show not a threat and just kind of slowly walk past them. And then I'm going to try and tell the girls to come around with me. And I'm going to stop right here.
Are you casting animal friendship on the baby?
Have I not already casted animal friendship on the baby?
I was hoping for a description of what it is when you are casting that spell on the baby.
Oh, it looks very subtle. You know, as Naya is walking with her quarterstaff, kind of in this like loose kind of position, not looking like she's sneaking up or going to attack. She's trying to not look like a threat. And she looks over to the baby and she says, "Enjoy your meal, little one. We are not a threat. We are just passing by. Let your parents know." But it's not like she's speaking directly to it as if it'll understand, but just to kind of get the vibes of the fact that, hey, we're chill.
This baby elk, as you pass by it, you said specifically that you're just trying to give it good vibes. The baby looks at you too. It pops its head up and looks at you too. And then it catches your vibes. And you can see that it's the way that mammals respond when they're having fun. You can see that this baby's curiosity and sense of play picks up immediately upon seeing you, and it actually trots over to you.
Oh my God.
And the mom does a little, like a half dash towards you, and then slows as it sees that you are not making a move to the baby, but it is closed with you somewhat. And now all the rest of you, Igern and Emmett and Ofelia, are coming too. So I want to know how the rest of you choose to approach as you are swinging around this little baby elk.
I know the trees have thinned out, but like, is there any way for me to slink behind trees?
If you want to get into the trees, you can. You're still fairly visible. Okay, and how about you, Ofelia?
I think I'm actually gonna let Ivern be closer to the elk side, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna be on the other side of Ivern.
On the tree side?
Yeah, but I'm not going towards the trees. I'm just kind of more near that side, just walking slowly, but feeling nervous.
So the mother elk notices that one of the four of you disappears and that the other two are also approaching its baby. And this mother comes right up to you, right up to all three of you. And it can't see Emmett. Actually, Emmett, give me stealth real quick, just in case.
And that's also disadvantage. Just everything is disadvantage.
And also kind of doesn't matter. I just got a nat 20 on the elk mother's perception.
Well, what if I get a nat 20?
Meets it, beats it.
Disadvantage. Stealth. Oh.
Not great. So this elk can still smell you, Emmett, and so she comes right up to all of you. And I want to know, what do you do as she comes up on you? I mean, she's kind of essentially making an intimidation check, except that large beasts don't have that ability.
I'm gonna look towards Naya with these wide eyes and have this expression of, what do you want us to do?
Do not look at the child. Do not look at the mom. You stay behind me. And now Naya's going to cast Speak with Animals to talk with the mom and say, "Hey, mom, do not worry. We're just passing by."
As you cast Speak with Animals, there's a vibration. All of you feel it, including Igern. You all recognize it. And as Naya actually casts the spell, it's almost like when you unfocus your eyes for those seeing eye puzzles, that's what you feel like all of your eyes are doing. Like you're just almost asleep, losing focus. And what you see, standing in the place where the mother elk was, is this tall, beautiful woman, long black hair, and she's wearing a crown of antlers. And as you say, "We're just passing by," she says, "You are in our space, human."
I apologize, but we need to go and find a friend, and we think that she's trapped. And so we just want to go through through your space, but we won't stay.
You were not invited here. Why should we let you pass?
Do you know of a shrine that exists on the top portion of this?
I know not what a shrine is.
Well, it's a place of power, and it's a place of power that keeps everything in balance. And all we're doing is going over in that direction to just try and make sure things are safe.
Do you not think you are in a place of power here? All places are places of power. You are an invader in our space. Why should we let you pass?
Because we mean you no harm and no threat. May we pass through?
At the asking politely, she walks up to her child, who looks like this extremely precocious androgynous little kid with like ruddy cheeks and like a flop of black hair. And she puts her hand on the child's shoulder, and your vision sort of flickers and you see the elk again, and then you see the people again. And she pulls the child back towards where the rest of the herd is. And they are all standing at attention now too. And when you see them as elk, you see a lot of very large animals staring dead at you. And when your vision flickers again, you see a tribe of people all watching you quite intently. And she pulls them back. She says, "You must promise that you do not bring danger with you."
Naya would like to actually perform an insight check on herself and her own powers here.
Ooh, okay.
Because here's the thing, Naya, just knowing what her community runs from and how she was pushed out because she is a witch and because of their fear of her corrupting them, she doesn't necessarily want to promise something that she can't confirm herself.
Okay, so you want to perform an insight check on yourself. So roll your insight at disadvantage against your spell save DC.
Fantastic.
Can Ofelia see if this is going well, this interaction?
That's not bad. It's tense. I think what you see is that it's tense, but you do not understand. I think you see the woman, all of you can see that, but whatever it is that's being heard, it's Naya that hears it.
And I do not see Emmett, correct?
And, well, do you see Emmett? What was your stealth again? It was not great. It was 9. Why don't you roll perception for me against her 9 stealth? But you also have disadvantage.
Okay, it's gonna be a 6.
You do not see Emmett.
I have managed to successfully roll against my spell save DC at disadvantage, which is wild.
She's asked you to promise that you don't bring danger with you, but you know what you're walking into. You know what you're walking into. You know that danger's already here. So you make what promises you feel able to make.
Fantastic. I cannot promise you that I won't bring danger. The only reason why I say that is because it's already here. It's already happened. And I don't know what is happening in this forest. And what I'm trying to do is make sure that it remains safe, that we all remain safe.
All of a sudden, everything kind of jitters and flickers again, and you see the elk and the people and the elk again. And then you hear and Igern screams.
Igern.
And there's an arrow embedded in her shoulder. She falls. The elk, they all start to panic all of a sudden because something just happened and Igern got hit. She stumbles to the ground, and then as the elk are starting to get worked up, you hear one of them let out a scream. Emmett and Ofelia, you've never seen wild elk before, and I think, though, that Naya, you have heard something like this. It's the way that elk scream when you have hunted them. And what you see is one of the male elk, its skin is sloughing off of it. The velvet on its horns is like plopping off of it, and it's becoming meaty and skeletal. And then behind it, what you see is a man. You can't really see his face. He's got a hood up, but he's got a dagger that he has plunged into the male elk's hindquarters.
Oh no.
And that elk, it's not dying, it's changing. And it's changing into something horrifying. And as the skin and meat sloughs off its body, it comes down in grayish drips, and it rears up and it screams. And as it does, the whole herd starts to circle. So they're gonna come around towards you. Everybody roll initiative.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I got a 7.
8.
My initiative is at 5.
Yeah.
Yay.
So unfortunately, our boy who just did that goes first, and he uses the opportunity to run in the trees and hide. So then it's Igern. Having seen this man from the ground, she casts Locate Creature. So she points to the woods. You guys are on, let's say, from the direction you were coming, you're on the left. The herd's on the right, and it's circling around from where you came from when you entered from the woods, and it's gonna come and hit you from behind. It's charging you. So that man was on the opposite side. He hit her with an arrow from the opposite side of the clearing and then stabbed that elk and ran into the trees, and she points across the clearing and says, "He's circling around." So that's her action. She is going to get up, and as a reaction, she's casting Ooh, I think she's gonna cast blindness deafness on him.
Let's go.
Oh no, okay, so she fails. But so she's used her reaction, she's used her action. As far as movement, she wants to make sure that you three are moving too. So she gets up off the ground and you look at this arrow that's pierced her shoulder. You can see that the shaft of it is barbed so that if she tries to pull it out, it's going to do some ripping and damage. She takes it and she yanks it out of her chest.
No.
And throws it to the ground. And she yells, "Run!" to the three of you. And then next will be the herd. So they get to move. And I believe their move is 50 feet. So we're going to say that they make it up to you as close as possible. And if you guys haven't done something to help yourselves within the next turn, they will charge you. Next up is Ofelia.
Where was the guy again?
The elk herd is circling around behind you, and he is too. But he's in the tree cover.
How far is that tree cover from me?
His location or the tree cover itself?
The tree cover to his side.
Given where he is, probably about 30 feet. But you'd have to run through the elk herd to get there.
No, that's great, because I'm going to cast Misty Step up to teleports me 30 feet to an unoccupied space that I can see. And I'm going to Misty Step to that tree cover where he is as a bonus action.
Nice. Excellent. Okay, so you have Misty stepped yourself to almost behind and like outside of the herd. So Misty Step is a bonus action. So what's your action?
Now, knowing my relationship with nature, I am going to touch my hands to the ground and I'm going to cast Spike Growth into that area where I believe that guy is going to be. I'll hit it right here. And then up to a ground of 20-foot radius centered on the point that is going to have spikes and thorns are going to grow, making it difficult terrain for the duration.
For him, if he tries to move again, he's going to end up taking damage. Next up it's Emmett.
All right. So the herd has not hurt us yet?
Not yet, but it will in the next turn.
Okay. So I will just use invisibility.
Got it. So you're invisible, and you're just outside of this clearing. So now the only two who are left inside of it are Naya and Igern. So Naya's up next, and then this person is after her.
Step one, Naya's going to cast haste on herself.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Ooh.
And that'll increase her AC by 2 and give her an extra action. Now, how many elk are there?
Let's say 15.
She might want to cast sleep at a high level and put all the elk to sleep. I think I'm going to do that.
Okay. They have 13 hit points each.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we are casting that. We are upcasting that to level 3.
Lovely. So 98 total.
98.
Wow.
Let me get a calculator.
It's only 33.
So you only put 2 to sleep.
But that's still something.
The mother drops and another one drops. So like we'll say there are like about 13 left up, but one of them is this monstrous creature that is behind all of the other elk. All right, so that's your action, correct?
Right. So that's my first action.
Your action
is cast
was haste and
my
sleep.
second action is sleep.
Great.
Cool.
Any bonus? You're still in the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a Misty Step bonus action my way over to where Ophelia's at.
So you have Misty stepped away, almost behind. But that's the thing, is you're entering this terrain she created now. The spike growth terrain. Are you trying to come in right next to her so that you're not in that? Because you need to give me a check to see if you see it. Because she cast into the forest.
Oh, she cast into the forest. Where is she at in relationship to the cast?
She's right at the edge of it, and she cast into the woods.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. I just want to be right behind her. Just cast next to her.
Okay, so that's fine. So the thing is neither of you can see this guy because he is hidden. Igern is the one who located him, but she can't see him. She just located him magically. Oh, he has haste too. Okay, so he's going to cast haste on himself, and then he's going to dash as his second action, and he's got 30 feet, and then he winds up taking how much damage per 5 feet he moves?
For every 5 feet, 2d4s.
2d4, okay. So he's going to move 30 feet, but that will get him out of the spike growth, correct?
Yes, it's a 20-foot radius, but at least he'll be taking damage then.
Even if you didn't see him, do you want him to effectively be in the center of it?
That was the intention. 9 9 points of piercing damage.
Piercing damage. He gets outside of the range of the spike growth. A bonus action dash, and then he's going to hide again. So he's out of vision of you. Igern is going to take the same cue that you guys did, and she's going to misty step. She's got locate creature still up, so she is misty stepping closer to him. Then she's going to dash to him because she knows where he is, and she looks to you two, Naya and Ofelia, and she yells at you, "Get to Uneza!" And she grabs him and she teleports out of there with him.
The fuck?
No!
She just took him off the field.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Wait. Igern, wait. Wait, girl, come back. No, wait.
So you guys are actually near enough to where this man was that you totally now, Naya, understand what the wolf said about how this man stinks of death.
Yeah.
Because he does not smell like somebody who's cleaned himself, and he leaves a lingering, noxious, sulfurous scent. So at this point now, the elk herd is circling around, and all of you are out of its range, with everybody having disappeared. The herd, it doesn't slow and stop because there's still this monstrous elk with its flesh dripping off of it. And this has them fearful as well. But what they do is they scatter into the woods. I think everybody give me a dex check just to make sure you don't accidentally get hit by one, because they are scattering. So Ofelia and Emmett with disadvantage.
Oh shit. It's a check or a save?
Dex save, I'm sorry.
Okay.
3, so 6.
I got 12.
22.
Okay. 22, you save. You both, these elk, you get hit by one, each of you. It's a glancing blow, but each of you take 7 damage.
So now I have 12 health.
Is this corrupted elk still around? That feels bad.
It is bad, and it's also scattering with the rest. It looks like what it's doing is chasing that mother elk and her child.
Oh no!
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, wait a minute.
But they scatter faster than you are able to follow them. They have a much higher speed than you guys do. Not you, Naya, but if you want to give chase to the elk, you can.
I want to give chase to the corrupted elk, and I want to witches grab that bitch.
Oh,
Wait, no, like the corrupted one?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was done to it. I feel bad for it.
Is it? Wait, okay. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. Was that thing not corrupted?
It was corrupted. The man you saw stabbed it with a dagger that you recognize.
Which is the same dagger that Uneza trained us with.
Yep.
For that freaking tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn to them, just quickly ask, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to Uneza? But I don't know how I feel about leaving that creature here.
I don't feel comfortable with that either. But Igern did say go to Uneza. So there is something around. Maybe finding what happened to Uneza will help us figure out how to disrupt this corruption for this elk.
And what I'm going to say is that they have gotten away from you now. There's no way to give chase. They're too fast, and if Naya's not going to run now, then it's not going to happen.
Right.
Are you keeping haste up?
At this point, how far am I from Uneza?
So this is early afternoon. You guys probably have a few more hours of travel to be able to get to Clawtip.
I probably want to keep it up because I could probably run over there, but I might travel with the group.
If you're saying this out loud, I'm going to tell Naya, I think I have something that could possibly help with traveling faster. So if you want to run, you can.
I have a question. How far do the elk look at this point? How many feet?
They've run into trees, so it's actually hard to perceive them. They are at least 120 feet away from you, and they are moving fast away also. And they're going in a bunch of different directions.
As this is happening, I'm going to kind of look towards the forest again, think about everything that just happened. And it's strange, the place with all the grasping greens, but it was also helping me during the fight. And it's always kind of been there to help me. And so I send forth a request of help me get to Uneza's place. And I am going to cast Phantom Steed.
Oh, damn. Okay, cool.
And I guess this is a DM thing, but I was sort of thinking, since Emmett is small, can she ride with me?
Can you guys double up?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm invisible, by the way.
10 miles in an hour or 13 miles at a fast pace. Wow. Okay. Actually, I don't know if Naya's going to be actually slower than you because that's wild.
Yeah.
I think the steed you call is an elk.
Oh.
Yeah. One of the male elk stops when you call out. Can you actually tell me what your magic looks like when you do this?
I think around the elk, like trees start to like flower, and the flowers that were wilted kind of bloom up, and there's this fragrance of just sweetness that beckons the elk, and that flowering kind of leads a trail back towards me.
Lovely. And as the elk slows and stops and hears your call and it turns around and comes back to you, the flowers also bloom on its antlers as well.
I'm gonna be extremely nervous because I just saw this elk. Actually, it's poetic if this is the elk that like hit me as it was running.
Yeah, it's the one that ran into you, knocked into you as it was running, and it dips its head in an apology to you and allows you and Emmett to both mount.
I'm just gonna briefly reach out a hand because I think I saw Naya do that and just let it kind of sniff me.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I know your intention was not to hurt me, but just keep us safe. And then I'm gonna turn to Emmett and say,
Well, what, do you see me?
I mean, I hope so.
Have you dropped invisibility? Yeah, Emmett, what are you doing?
I hope so.
It would be funny if I kept it, but I'm gonna take it off. I pop up and I'm right behind you.
Oh. Emmett, you wanna go on this? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm just gonna look at the elk and be like, can you bend down?
Yes, it dips down, it tucks its legs under it and like gets down low enough that both of you can just swing a leg over it. So it's like on the ground essentially, and you can just mount it. And when you do, it rises up. I'm going to say no saddle. So you guys you are unsteady on it. I think, Emmett, are you in front or in back?
Back.
You're in back. Okay, so Ofelia, you can hold on to its antlers.
Like a motorcycle.
Yes, I hold on to the antlers, and I look so scared.
I need to look at haste real quick just to double check something because you're going to get there within an hour. Wait, haste only lasts a minute.
I mean, well, can
you cast Phantom Steed also?
I mean, it's technically there.
You're not in combat anymore, so I will allow you both to cast Phantom Steed. Describe to me the casting of the spell when you do it.
It's definitely not as beautiful as what Ofelia has going on there. I think it's kind of like nonchalant. A female elk comes up to me and I kind of give it a little scratch and hold its head next to my head and be like, can you help me get to Yuneza? And then it just calmly lets me jump on its back.
Onto its back?
Yeah, just real chill.
Two of these elk are asleep on the ground.
Right, just like...
Well, one of them turned around and flowered a crown.
Yeah.
And the other one is just like, let's go, girl.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
All right, well, so you mount up on your Phantom Steed. When your steeds bring you to the end of the peninsula at Claw Tip, it was the early afternoon when you left the clearing, and they are so fast that you arrive within an hour. It's getting to be late afternoon towards sunset. As you arrive, you notice it's getting darker faster than you would expect because there's actually a storm, a thunderstorm, coming towards you from the ocean. You dismount from the elk, and that's about it for Phantom Steed, so they return the way they came and go back to find their herd. And you are left staring at Yuneza's hut at Claw Tip, at the very furthest point of Penance Point. Claw Tip is a weather-beaten, ramshackle wooden hut held together by scotch tape, spit, and Yuneza's magic. And Naya, you would recognize that the long, spindly, branching rock structures against the front of the hut look kind of like, if you look at it a certain way, like chicken legs. This place is familiar to all of you because you spent your summer here, the better part of your summer here, for almost a whole season, while Yuneza taught you what she could about your witch magic. So the three of you are standing on the cliffside looking at Yuneza's hut, which is Absolutely quiet, no lights on inside. And you stand here hearing the ocean waves beating against the cliffs, and the wind howls, and it is quiet as the storm gathers.
I would really like to... everything looks pretty pristine. Does it look like there was a struggle?
The outside of the house looks fine. It looks as pristine as it ever does. It's a house perched in the middle of the ocean, so it's very weather beaten. But it doesn't look like there's any sign of the struggle from the exterior.
Okay. Does it feel like there's like a barrier protection? Is there any sort of magic that I sense a presence of?
Uneza has Hallow cast on her home. It's one of her abilities as a more experienced and practiced witch. She had it cast on her home while you were there the first time, but the nature of it feels different. What it is protecting the house against feels different.
Okay. Can I reach out with my senses to... And I guess this is going to be your DM discretion, but basically what I'm thinking of doing is casting Detect Evil and Good.
Ooh, okay. I think for our purposes, it's Detect Corruption. But yes, you can go ahead and cast that.
So I'm going to reach out with my senses because this is a familiar place and I know how Uneza's home feels.
Yes.
And I guess what I'm trying to understand is what's changed? Is there a danger here that is presenting itself differently than what we're used to?
As you reach out with your senses, if you reach towards the home, what you can feel is that it's protecting against necrotic forces. Prior to that, it was a home that protected the inhabitants against becoming afraid. But this is different. This is against corrupted necrotic forces. So that's all you sense where you are at the very edge of the point.
I shared with the group what I sense.
Could I do a perception check to just look for anything around, even just like on the ground or near the house that looks weird?
Yes, you can, but you got to give it to me with disadvantage.
Please be cool. That's okay. It's not the worst. That's okay.
Besides the fact that this place is quiet, that you know that Uneza is missing, and that you know that something's wrong with the shrine, you can't see the shrine because of how it's located on the cliffs below you. Besides the fact that you know all of this, nothing about the way this hut appears seems out of place or extraordinary.
Okay.
Naya's gonna start walking towards the hut and attempt to open the door.
You cross the rope bridges and go up to the door of the hut?
Yes.
Naya, as you go up to the door, which is closed, you don't even have to turn the handle. It's open. And it opens at your touch because the lock is busted.
Oh.
Not busted like the door's been kicked in or anything like that, but like it was picked open and left open. When you open the door to the hut, it's dark inside, and it does look like there's been a struggle in here. The table is overturned, and everything has been scattered around the room of this one-room hut.
I'd like to make a perception check. I guess what I'm ultimately trying to do is to see if it looks like there has been a struggle with two people as if they were fighting, or if it looks like someone was wrestling and trying to search for something.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
All right. 10.
You can't totally tell. The way everything is upturned, you can't really distinguish. You just know that there was something that happened in here that seems relatively physical because everything is scattered about.
I think Naya's going to try to do her best to just continue to walk and track the mess and the overturning, seeing where it started to where it led to.
Of course. What about you, Emmett? What would you like to do?
So it just looks all messed up in there.
Are you coming in? Right now, Naya's the only one who's in.
Yeah, I'm going to be following Naya.
Yeah, okay. It's so scattered that it's hard to tell. Furniture got pushed into places and things have been overturned. So it's just a mess in here. There's no blood.
No blood.
That's what I will say. There's no blood.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to do another perception check in here?
Do you guys want to do perception? Do you want to do investigation?
Investigation
That's also,
probably makes
yes,
more sense.
Investigation is an option.
Forgot that existed.
Yes, go ahead and give me.
I forgot about investigation.
Yes, investigation is a tool in your toolkit that I'm going to bring up with my mouth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. As you should.
With disadvantage because I'm tired.
Yes, with disadvantage, yes.
Ew.
Bad.
Ew.
That was bad.
I don't know. It looks bad.
I think for you, Emmett, tell me how Emmett feels about you, Neza.
Thought she was a little bit intimidating. Really intimidating. I guess didn't dislike her, but definitely... Also, like, after first getting Emmett's magic, she was really shaken up about it. And so that coinciding with meeting kind of a really intimidating lady, she was kind of scared of her, but not in a she's going to hurt me way, just in a this is all crazy and I don't know what to think of her. She doesn't really know what to think of Yuneza.
I think that because Yuneza struck you as fairly strong and willful, as you enter this room and you attempt to investigate, really what's occurring to you more than like your ability to discern what's happening in the room is what did this to a woman that strong?
Yeah, so I'm kind of freaked out.
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Ofelia?
I think I had waited for kind of trusting in Naya's expertise to scout ahead for us because I know that's her background, but seeing her come out of the house, I think I'm going to be following.
Just want to clarify, did you leave the house, Naya?
No, I'm tracking the path of the destruction inside the house. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm still in there.
Okay, then I'll have gone inside as well. Is it dark in here?
Yes, it is. And especially with the storm coming in and sunset approaching, the light is leaving pretty fast.
Then I'm going to just twirl my hand a little bit, and then lights in the shape of fireflies are going to come so that there's light casted in this room
Oh, okay, that's nice.
for us. And it's going to like land in each like spot of the corner of the room for us to see.
Okay, great. Any checks you want to do?
I think I'm just going to be aiding Naya because I know this is once again her expertise. So I'll just give you the help action for your rolls. So you roll with advantage.
Okay,
Amazing.
great.
Thank you.
So what does everybody want to do in here?
Can you describe the space once more, Yuneza's house?
Yes, certainly. So it is a one-room hut with a loft. That's where she had you guys sleeping, was in the loft on like a hay mattress. There's essentially her space where she kept her bed, which is enough space for a single person, was the back of the hut against the window. The mattress is overturned, the sheets are scattered. And then towards the front of the hut was where Yuneza has her stove and the table where she prepares her food and her spells. Underneath that table, there was a shelf with books that have all been pulled out and are scattered around the floor. And then she had a large table that she used for everything. So it was the eating table, it was the work table, it was the crafting table. That table is upside down and against the wall. There is a fireplace that's closer to the bed, but that's a little bit more towards the back of the hut.
Last when we met Yuneza and she had the dagger that turned that tree corrupt, did we by any chance see where she pulled that from?
She had it on her.
She had it on her. So I guess what Naya would like to do is do like a little investigation check or a history check to see in that space where would she have kept her weapons.
Love it. Give me a check with advantage because Ofelia is helping you. Investigation. Lovely. 18. Among the items that have been pulled out from the shelves on her desk and her books, you find a small wooden chest that has a lock on it. The lock is picked, the chest has been opened, but there's nothing in it. But while you are looking at this chest, you accidentally run your hand along a secret button, and the bottom of the chest pops open. And in it, you find 2 small sealed scrolls and a little green leather book. And I'm going to share them with you on Roll20 right now so that you can, if you want, read what you find to your friends.
I do. I absolutely do. Story time.
Story time.
Okay, wait.
Items.
Naya will take this opportunity to turn, and because I know that she senses Ofelia, she can see because of these fireflies. So she'll call Ofelia and call Emmett to her to then begin to read these items. Okay. So Naya unscrolls this small piece of parchment that has a blue seal on it. It says like V3C, knowledgeable about shrines and strands, overheard with an unseen companion. Runes of the circle must be broken, erased, overwritten. Runic algorithm completes strand circuit with the land. If altered, connection is weakened and can break entirely. Order must prevail. Maybe this 3 is actually an E? Maybe it's Vec? Vec is priest? How does he know? So I have this note here. It's describing the runes of a circle, and that it can't be broken. I think this is about how you can break the connection and weaken a connection through magic. And it looks like Yuneza has written something trying to find out who the companion is. But there's a shrine at the Ecclesia. Oh, we need to ask Igern.
Can I take a...
Yeah, it's an amalgamation. Please look at this yourself. There's another green unsealed scroll. It says Y. So maybe that's Yuneza. So it says, something moves upon the calyx, though I cannot pierce Hadari's veil of storm. I fear chaos has already drawn us into a vortex. The serpents and our mutual friends both. Callis calls for us in dream and shadow. And there's a little image of a leaf.
What was the Shrine of Chaos? Where is that located again? I remember somebody told us about it.
Somebody did tell you about it. Do you want to roll a history check for me
Yes.
and see if you can
I'll
remember?
use my real dice.
Mm-hmm.
A disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Yucky. Both were bad, but I got a
Amalgamation.
5.
You heard something about the Shrine of Chaos, but you do not remember who said it or what they said about it.
Me, IRL. I remember something about storms. That's all.
Can I also make either a history or arcana check to understand perhaps what this is referring to with the
note that Naya handed you?
Yeah,
go ahead and make... What are you trying to figure out?
What do I think amalgamation could mean, and have I heard of this shrine at Ecclesia?
Actually, so no roll necessary. You have. That is the shrine that Igern used to keep in Tuvold.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So there's a shrine. So this last book, just because I know where the Circle of Chaos is, it's in the Apocti Deep Woods. And the reason why I know this is because I'm looking at this final book, the small green leather-bound book, and on it says Braiding and Binding. It's a treatise on the Pantheons of Aelia
by Sadria Ko. On the first page, you see that this book was published in the year 206. It is currently the year 286, so it was published 80 years ago. Printed on the first page, it says, Sadria Ko was the last known keeper of the Shrine of the Calyx. Previously, the Heretic of the Green was the keeper of a minor circle of chaos in the Apocti Deepwood. Here follows her personal journal from Absosa 2-135 to 3-136 during her tenure at Hadari. Sadria Ko disappeared near 1-137 and is presumed dead. The first part of the journal is mostly Sadria Ko's observations about the nature of gods as they are braiding of strands. She compares the nature of gods to that of humans. They are braidings of spirits that are differentiated through the act of being named. Where gods are simplified spirits, because they are just composed of a handful of strands that have been braided together and named, they draw their power through the number of followers and believers that they command. The fewer followers, the less powerful the god. A god that has been named is essentially a fiber that has been pulled away from its source strand. It's a mutilation that can only become stronger through the combined faith of people. Otherwise, it will fade from the world, forgotten, and return to the source. Which is something that Yuneza touched on with you guys a little bit already. So earlier in the journal, Ko reflects on how intensely more powerful the Shrine of the Calyx is than the former Circle of Chaos that she attended in the Apocti Deepwood. She speaks of having seen the Strand of Chaos randomly appear as a massive, many-legged guardian at least a dozen times over the year of her tenure at the shrine. She theorizes that the geographic features of the landscape, the subduction of the mountain ranges, the shifting landscape caused by volcanic activity, the chaotic weather, the wild ocean currents, the dramatic temperature fluctuations, are both caused by the Strand of Chaos and its natural meeting place with the land. Ko name checks the Tideborn Shrine at Clawtip and Speartip as equally powerful places because chaos, order, and change are the support strands that frame the loom.
Can I make like some sort of check to see what does Vec could be referring to?
I don't think you would know. Regardless of any check that you make, you would guess from reading it that it's referring to someone specific.
I guess I turn to Naya and Emmett and say, I think this is some sort of Yuneza's discovery, and it seems like it says Vec is a priest, so that refers to the church. So someone in the church knows about shrines and strands, which is the loom. So whatever this is, as I'm assuming these attacks are targeted specifically with the shrines.
What was it saying in the part where it says amalgam? Can you reread that part?
I'm just gonna turn to Emmett and say, Yuneza didn't really write what it was, but she just underlined here, and I'm just gonna show you the scroll. She just underlined the word amalgamation.
She wrote and underlined that. That was her own note.
Yeah.
Amalgamation? I feel like Emmett's maybe in passing heard that word before, but what's it mean? What's that word exactly mean again?
It's like a conglomerate. Oh, sorry. It's like a mix of things coming together.
So multiple different things going together?
Yeah, like porridge.
We had a nightmare about a bunch of different things being connected together.
I think this is the first time any of us has shared that nightmare before, and as soon as you...
Yeah, you guys didn't share the nightmare with each other.
Well, I'll just say that I had one.
And I think as soon as you say that, Ofelia is going to pause. I mean, that's odd. I also had a dream about this monstrosity, but I'm not quite sure how that could be relating to this, other than that visually what we saw wasn't amalgamation. And then I'm going to just turn to Naya and say, I mean, what do you think about this?
Wait, what? Naya, deep in reading the book, is like, what are you, wait, what?
Remember how we all had this nightmare yesterday? I mean, Emmett just brought up a good point. I didn't realize that, I guess somehow we had shared dreams, but, you know, Yuneza had written amalgamation, and Emmett just made me realize that, I mean, I don't know about you, but whatever I saw seemed to be an amalgamation of sorts.
I definitely had a dream about this. Was it a monster with like many component parts?
Yeah, very disturbing.
Oh no. Oh no. Wait. I think it's in the book.
What?
I think okay, wait. So you all had a dream about being in this dark area and running into this creature that had many arms?
Yes.
By any chance, did you get sucked into a void?
Yes.
Yes,
And I woke
that
up.
was why I woke up.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, okay. In this book, there's the keeper of the Shrine of Calyx. Their name was Sadrie Ko. She's written something around a guardian. She's seen this the strand of chaos, and it randomly appears massive. And there's this many-legged guardian that I think protects the shrine or is at that shrine. Maybe we saw something. Maybe that's what that was.
Well,
So, you know that, okay, shrines are being targeted. There's talks about order here, and we know about chaos, and Yuneza's shrine was the shrine of change. Should we go check on the shrine?
yeah.
I think we need to check on the shrine. So, okay, hold on. So, if we know that Yuneza is Coven of the Claw, we know that Igern is Coven of the Heart. Who is the Coven of the Green? Like, who is that person?
I'm assuming it was my guardian, Liev, but I have not had any contact with him since he, directed me to Igern.
Does he maybe know where this circle of chaos is?
I mean, I could assume so. Maybe I can ask.
Oh, okay. Naya's going to take the book and put it in, I don't know, does she have a backpack? Sorry. Do they have a little backpack?
I would assume you have a satchel of some sort, yes.
Okay, she's going to put it in the satchel. Ofelia, I absolutely agree. I think we need to go and check on the shrine. But if you can figure out if you can talk to this person, I think we need to find this person. I think we need to figure out where the shrine is.
Big peal of thunder as the rain hits and lightning flashes.
Remembering how I had called to Naya earlier yesterday about the guard, I'm going to sort of reach out again, knowing Liev and his face, and I'm going to cast Sending. Liev, Ofelia, we are at Yunez's place. Found book about Circle of Chaos. Need your help, please.
There's a short pause as this message gets sent, and you hear back,
Ofelia, family safe. Shrine of Chaos at Hadari. Need to go. You three should come with. Coming to you now.
I'm gonna just turn to Naya and Emmett and say, I contacted Liev. He knows about the Circle of Chaos. He says it's located in Hadari, and he's gonna come meet us here.
let me know if any of you want to do a history check on Hadari.
I will.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll also help with that. I'm just curious if I know of any person coming from my village who would have come from Hadari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
We're still rolling at disadvantage?
You are still rolling at disadvantage, so sorry.
I got a 5.
Emmett, so I'm so sorry, Emmett, but you have been focused on survival for most of your short life. You do not know.
I don't even know what that word means.
You don't even know what that word
Sounds
means. You didn't even
delicious.
know it was a place. You barely knew outside of your town about 2 seasons ago, so you're lost in the sauce.
16.
You actually know Hadari to be an island in the middle of the bay. And in fact, Clawtip, the way it curves up and then it curves east and sort of wraps around in the shape of a talon, and you're at the very point of that talon.
Mm-hmm.
Past that are these small rocky islands called the Stepstones, and they step down to Hadari. You know that that is an uninhabited island.
Mm-hmm.
People and ships don't go there. It's almost always cloaked in a strong thunderstorm, and it's supposed to be like a volcanic ring chain, so it's not safe for people to be there. But the thing you really know about it, what it invokes in you, is this kind of memory of a story in childhood of an island that would shroud itself with a storm and get up and walk around the bay.
I am going to share that with everyone, and I'm going to say, well, now that we know that the Shrine of Chaos is there, it makes a lot of sense. But I don't know what the stories are referring to when they say that the island just picks itself up and moves.
Hold on.
Naya?
I want to clarify something with you, Ash, real quick, just above the table. So, Zadria Ko, she used to attend the shrine in the Apakti Deepwoods. She became the keeper of the Shrine of the Calyx at Hadari.
This is why it's what's happening also above the table is that I'm like reading deep lore and I'm like putting 2 and 2 together, but I'm doing that in real time while talking.
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
hard.
Like, wait,
Yeah.
wait. Because then you also just mentioned, again, above table about shifting things. And I think I read something like that. Please hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Please hold. But on the table, Naya, hearing that from Ofelia, immediately pulls back out the book and proceeds to look through it once more.
Boom. Another peal. This is a strong storm that's hitting right now, and it's gotten dark outside.
On the walk to Eunice's house, when we saw the storm approaching, was it like just like accumulating up ahead or above us, or was
It was coming in from the ocean.
from the ocean?
It was being blown in from the ocean.
So, would you say in the direction from Hadari?
No, it's actually coming towards Hadari.
Oh, okay. That's good to know, also.
In the direction that it's moving, it has to pass over you first, and then it would pass the stepstones, and then it would get over Hadari.
Creepy.
Ophelia's just like deep in thought, and this is kind of, I guess, a third person would kind of see the similarities between her face right now, and even though she's not related by blood with her father, she's picked up that habit, and her brows are like furrowed, deep in thought.
It's practically a unibrow at this point.
Yeah. Yes.
Naya's going to close the book and says, we can do this in just a moment. We need to hunker down for the night and make sure that we stay safe in this storm. Because I don't think we're traveling anywhere, ladies.
Do you think Igern will be okay?
Well, I do. She told us to come here, and she managed to just zap this person out of, I don't know, existence, wherever they went. But one thing that we might be able to do, even considering that the storm is on top of us, is maybe we go to the shrine.
Yes.
Is the shrine, this is a DM question, the shrine is just below us, right?
So you are out on, there are two little like rocky islands that connect to the island that this hut is perched on top of, and that's where the rope bridges come down. The shrine is actually part of the mainland peninsula. It's very close to you, but it's in the wall of the cliffs that form the end of the tip of Claw Tip. So right now, the cave entrance is visible. It's low tide. Is anybody looking out the window at the shrine?
I think Ofelia would have.
As the lightning flashes, you see a figure standing at the mouth of it with a long cloak and waving hair. You can't see the face, it's just a silhouette, but there's a figure and it's pointed towards the three of you.
Everyone, someone is at the shrine and is looking at us. We need to go now.
And when you look back, the figure has vanished. That was Annette Lee as Ofelia, Ashlyn Sparrow as Naya, and Tegan Mack as Emmett. Sara Brink was the game master. Story editing and sound design by Sara Brink. Oops All Witches is a playtest of the Witch class created for The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One, produced by Fortunate Horse. For more information, visit the Worlds Beyond Number Patreon. Oops All Witches is a Dancing Stickman production. If you're enjoying the podcast and you'd like to hear more nerdy content like this, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. And be sure to tell your friends. Thanks for listening.